Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another show, another Sunday Night Live show. I couldn't finish my sentence then for a moment. I don't know why. Tonight's show is pretty much going to be about getting all of this optimized. I'm using my new computer now, and a massive thank you to Mr. Don Barnes of Red Barnes Audio for all of his help earlier on this evening. He has been wonderful in helping me get this set up. Mostly because my previous setup I used to have like a 2-interface kind of setup, and I can't use that anymore because my second interface, unbeknownst to me, does not work on Windows 10, and I'm now using a Windows 10 setup. So I had to think of another way round to do it. I had a lot of help from Jonny last night to try and work out a way to continue to use a 2-interface system using my Studio Live mixer, and unfortunately we couldn't quite get it to work. So, but now, thank you to Mr. Don Barnes, it's working well, I think. And I'm just looking at my stream in YouTube. The audio stream's current bitrate 0 is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend you use an audio bitrate of 128 kbs. Okay. So the music sounded okay. Video only going up to 720, not 1080. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know why that would be, because it should be 1080p. What have I done wrong in OBS? I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure why that would be. It should be 1080p. But Kyle says only going up to 720. That's not good. I like to do my shows in 1080p. So I must have done something wrong. I don't know what that might be. I'm going to have to go have a look at that. Go and get settings open and see if we can figure out what is the story there. Output, let's see. Oh, Don says we can adjust that on the fly. I'm unclear if we can do that later. Now this could be a YouTube thing. Because D. Wayne says mine is 1080p and Bruce says 1080p. And Carl's just said it's upped itself. Excellent. Okay, so it's not here. Good. That's good to know. Not my issue. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is that before I hit go live, YouTube was telling me that 1920 by 1080 is not optimal. It's never told me that before, so I don't know. Donna Knight says 1080p. Thomas is here. Hey Thomas, good to see you, mate. He says mine was only up to 720 for a while, but has now changed to 1080. And Don says people watching can change now. Okay, good. I wonder why it started off at 720 and has now gone up to 1080. That's interesting. Don't know why that would be. Don, maybe you and I can hook up and see if we can figure that one out. It could be an OBS thing. Possibly, if it's not starting at 1080p. Ooh, excuse me. Little silent burp there. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's not at this end, so I can clear that away. Alrighty. We've got 18 people in here, which is awesome. Considering I only announced this like 2.5 hours ago. Because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how this is going to work. Old School Funk and Soul is here. Good to see you, my friend. And he says 1080p here. Good. Just Bob says music sounded really good. So does your mic. Awesome. That's good to know as well. Also could have been something on the viewer's end. Yes, that is definitely true. So let me explain a little bit about what is now happening. What's now happening is, thanks to Don Barnes for his help here, I am using only one interface on Windows 10 to do my show. On Windows 7, I was using two interfaces, and I was running my 1824 into into an old, cheap Alesis interface that I've had for about 10 years. Excuse me. And whilst that worked on Windows 7, and it worked really well on Windows 7, that kind of thing doesn't really work very well on Windows 10. In fact, basically what we got was crackly audio, and it sounded detuned. Bobby Booth says, wow, 720p surprised on my end. Okay, Bobby, you should be able to change that to 1080 now. Just about everybody is saying that it started off at 720 and is now 1080, so you should be able to get that. Just go to the little cogwheel down the bottom somewhere, and you should be able to change that to 1080. I have to admit, I have found watching the last 2 or 3 of Jonny Gibe's shows that sometimes it downsamples to 360, and you have to manually change it back to 1080 sometimes. So it could well be that there is a YouTube server thing going on that means it occasionally downsamples. And the reason why it downsamples would be because... oh, Mark is here, my good friend Mark. For those of you that don't know Mark is a fantastic singer-songwriter that I have worked with off and on for about... I'm going to say 8 years. I've done some piano parts for some of his records, and I even got I think the last thing I did for Mark was I dug out my clarinet and played a clarinet solo for one of his songs. I don't know if he used it or if it was any good, but it was great fun doing it. Mark is a great guy. He's hilarious. He's got a wonderful sense of humor, and he's a terrific singer-songwriter. So I highly recommend, folks, that you go check Mark out. Let's see. Bobby says it buffers at 1080. Anybody else getting it buffering at 1080? If it's buffering at 1080, I don't know what that could be. But basically the way YouTube is set up when you are live streaming is, in order to keep your live stream going, it will downsample to the nearest best rate that it can just to keep it going. Does that sometimes. Ken is here. Hey Ken, good to see you, buddy. He says, hello all. Mark says 50 years. Yeah. Yeah, we've known each other a good while, and it feels like a lot longer that we've known each other. And Mark is down in Australia. Don says, lots of moving parts, no buffering here. That will vary among the viewers and locations. That's very true. That's very true. And sometimes you will get downsampling on different YouTube servers in different parts of the world. Like if one server is down, it will pick up another one and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, solid stream, says Bruce, at 1080. Thomas says 1080 is working fine as well. Hopefully it's all sounding good, which is what we want. So we will go through the gears as we go through the show. We will test quite a lot of things. We'll test Studio One, and we'll see what that sounds like, and we'll make sure that we're getting a stereo output from Studio One. Ken says, just switch from 720 to 1080 and going strong. Excellent. That's what I need to hear. Those are the kind of things I want to hear. Although, if something's not working, please tell me. If something is funky, then definitely do report it in the chat here, because that way I can make adjustments, or I can make a note, and then Don and I can get together again and try and work it out. So let me go and tell you kind of exactly what I'm doing now. I'm using the PreSonus 1824, and I have done since some point last year. I can't quite remember when I got it. It might have even been 2 years. Yeah, it might have even been 2018. I can't quite remember. It was after we moved into this house that I got it. And I knew it had loopback functionality in it. Not every PreSonus interface has loopback, but certainly some of the studio interfaces do. Like the 2.6 definitely does. The 1810 I think does, and the 1824 definitely does. It has a loopback facility built into it. So what does that mean? Well, that basically means you can record a virtual set of outputs back in through the same interface. So it's kind of hard to explain, to be honest, but it basically OBS, my screen capturing software that I'm using for streaming, detects a virtual output from my interface, and you set that up in OBS, and in Universal Control you set Universal Control to loop back in virtual mode, so it's using virtual outputs. So I'm listening to the real thing in my headphones, my speakers are listening to the real thing, but OBS is listening to a set of virtual outputs. Mike Neighbor is here. Excellent. Good to see you, buddy. Old School Funk and Soul says, solid 1080p. Tell us about your new PC. Happy smooth upgrade. What's and all? Okay, I'll do that in just a second. Mike says, Uno Attack is the most annoying game ever. Yes, it is. Especially if you have family members that are uber competitive, like my daughter and my wife. Particularly my daughter. My daughter is very competitive. My wife, she is competitive, but she's not quite so. Cal says 6.8 has loopback as well. Yes, it does. I knew I was missing one out. So the new computer. Okay, unfortunately, I don't think Mika is here. He left me a message at the start of this show, and he wanted to know about it as well. So basically, just before Windows 7 went end of life on January 14th, so a few days before that, I could have just upgraded that computer to Windows 10. I could have done that. Probably would have been cheaper to do that. However, here's the problem. The problem with the old computer was that it was getting old. I'd had that computer since 2014, and I was starting to get memory errors and excuse me. And I was starting to get hard disk errors as well. So my system drive occasionally would crap out on me, and Windows would fail to boot. And so I thought, okay, this is not good. I managed to get everything off both my my system drive and my Studio One song and projects drive. So all of that I managed to get off and back up onto a 4 terabyte external drive. So all of that data and all of that stuff is safe and secure. And then I ordered this new computer. Now, the new computer that I ordered from Scan Computers UK, they are a great company. I've used them before. The previous computer was a Scan computer, and it failed me not until the last sort of month of its life in the studio. That's when it started to fail me. But for pretty much 5 solid years, it did not crash once. It didn't have any problems at all, and I would push the heck out of it, because that computer that I had was never designed for video making. It was never designed for streaming. It was designed just for doing studio stuff, mixing, mastering, recording. That's all it was designed to do. And it was an i5 quad core with 8 gigs of RAM, because I wasn't really doing particularly big projects at the time. So I thought, I don't know, I'm probably not gonna do much more than about 30 channels of audio. I doubt. Most of the stuff that I do is jazz, or it's folk, or it's Scottish contemporary folk music. So it's small band kind of stuff, really. or singer-songwriter stuff. That's kind of the vast majority of the work that I have done in my career as an audio engineer. And so I didn't think I would need anything bigger than that. So that's what I got 5 years ago. And as I say, until 5-6 weeks ago, it was fine. And then it started having these errors. So I thought, okay, I can't upgrade it to Windows 10 like I planned. I'm going to have to get a new computer. So that's what I did. So I went onto the Scan website. This is going to be a little bit of a long story. So, put your feet up and that kind of thing. I went to Scan Computer's website. I looked at a computer that I could get off the shelf from Scan, pre-built, designed for audio work primarily, but had a reasonably robust graphics card to be able to do what I'm doing now, streaming and video making. And so I spied this computer and I thought, that's great. It's twice as fast as what I'm using. It's got twice as much RAM as what I'm using. Oh, and the cool thing is it's an octa-core. So it's got 8 cores. Now, some of you are going to say, oh, that's so 2 years ago. Now we're like 12 or 15 cores. Okay, I'm just catching up. I'm a little bit slow when it comes to computers, okay? Cut me a little bit of slack. Eventually I'll get there and I will have a 15-core computer and you guys will have 200 cores. But, I'm getting there. 8 cores. It's twice as many cores as I had before, which is why I can have this great connection with YouTube. I'm looking at my streaming page in YouTube and it says excellent connection. Now, sometimes it would say that before, but most of the time it would say, nah, it's too slow. Your connection's too slow. Your connection's too slow. But now it's just saying excellent all the time. So this has 8 cores. It's an i7 and it has 16 gigs of RAM. And so this machine that I had bought from Scan was supposed to be a silent machine. It has 2 solid-state drives and was therefore supposed to have no moving parts. And therefore, it was going to have a passive cooler, no fans. And I really liked the idea of that. Not that I think fans are bad. I think fans are fine. But they can be a little bit noisy and your microphone can pick up the CPU fans sometimes. And so I didn't want that. I wanted something that was silent, that I knew would, there was never going to be a chance that this microphone was going to pick up anything from the computer. And so that's what I went for. And it was supposed to be a next day delivery. However, they called me up and they said, sorry, but the passive cooler that is in our system that you have bought is no longer available. The company that make them no longer make them. So what in that situation, what do I do? Because I need a computer stat. Because that one is Windows 7. Windows 7 has gone end of life. What do I do? So they said, what we'll do is we'll find you another cooler and we'll put that in that machine and then we'll send it off to you. So I went, okay, fine. They didn't tell me, naughty Scan Computers UK, they didn't tell me that they were going to put in a cooler with a fan system built into it. They didn't tell me they weren't going to give me another passive cooler made by another company, because surely there must be other companies that make passive coolers. But they didn't do that. They put this fan cooler in, and they didn't even put it in the case it was supposed to go in, which was a silent case. So this case has nice little air outlets so that the cooling, the fans can turn and they can circulate the air in and out of the computer system like, normal. But when you have mechanical drives, you kind of need that. And apparently, I don't really know enough about computers, but when you have no moving parts, then, you shouldn't need that. And you should be able to completely seal the whole system up. So anyway, so they sent me this, and the first thing I did when the box is still behind me here, you can kind of see it. The first thing I did when I was going to shoot an unboxing video, I'm glad I didn't, because I opened the box and went, oh, this has got fans. It's not supposed to have fans. That's not what I bought. So I unboxed it, I plugged everything in, and I started setting everything up because I needed to see how it is going to run. And I powered it up, and there is fan noise, obviously. It's not too bad, but I thought, well, my old machine over here, which is, you can't really see it, it's kind of tucked down there, had acoustic foam inside the case so that you wouldn't really hear the fans spin much. And that would come in at about 30 dB. A-weighted 30 dB. This one comes in at just shy of 60 dB, the fans noise. And you can't hear it because I have an expander in OBS. So as soon as I stop talking, it shuts down. So you can't really hear it. But it's there. It's not massively loud, but it's louder than silent, which is what I had purchased. So here's the kind of quandary I am now in, now that I've got everything set up and everything organized, and I'm now talking to you, and I've spent all this time with Jonny and Don trying to get all the audio side set up so that I can actually do my show tonight. The quandary I'm now in is, do I call Scan and say, okay, it's not what I asked for, but I'll take it anyway? But, you know, the bit that I have missed out is that when I bought this computer, it was supposed to be a next day delivery, as I said. It took 11 days to get here. And about half a dozen emails back and forth and phone calls back and forth to kind of find out what the heck was going on. And not really getting great communication from Scan, it has to be said. So pretty much from start to finish, this whole order of this new computer has not gone any way, shape or form to plan. 35 people in here, which is awesome. I think that is a new record for this show. So welcome everybody. And thank you for coming and listening to my sob story about this new computer. Which I will stop talking about in a minute. So yeah, so my quandary now is, do I accept this computer as it is with the fans and everything else, and just say to Scan, okay, please, you know, give me some compensation for the fact that it's not the machine I ordered, and it took you 15 days instead of the next day delivery. 11 days instead of the next day delivery it was supposed to be. Or do I say, it is not the machine I ordered, send it back, give me the one I ordered. So that's my little quandary. Orange Shackman says, 11 days, God created some stuff in about that time. Just saying. Yeah, I know, but human beings are not God, are they? And I see your point, but the point was that this machine should have been pre-built. That was the point. Mika says, I looked at the webpage of your computer that you posted the link to, and it was marketed as a silent system. Correct. That's what it's supposed to be, and it isn't. It is not silent. Bobby says, took 2 weeks for my upgraded memory to come in. Oh dear God. I hope that wasn't delivered by UPS. I've heard all sorts of things about UPS. So I hope it wasn't. Don says, having a fan is a win longer term. Yes, accept it if it does what else you want. Yeah, you've got a good point there. You've got a good point. But certainly I think that they should at the very least compensate me for the fact that it took 11 days instead of next day delivery. So I'm going to be talking to them tomorrow. And I thought, you know, I'll put this out there and see what you guys think. I've talked to a few other people. I talked to Jonny Guyve. I've talked to Dave Vignola and a few other people to see what they think as well. Not that I'm incapable of making an informed decision myself, but, you know, having other people's advice is good too. Let's see, who else is here? Cosmic J is here. He says, now I run multi-fans running half speed, then put it all inside a labyrinth enclosure. Ah, okay, that's a good idea. I put a passive water cooling in a PC years ago. The lack of secondary airflow about the motherboard killed the North Bridge chip. Oh dear, that's not a good idea. Yeah, I mean, fans are a good thing. I agree, because you've got to circulate the air somehow. Rodney Feltman is here. Rodney, good to see you. He says, man, Johnny, that stinks, but you will not be happy with it in the long run. Don't settle. Tell them to make it right. Yeah, you've got a good point too. Mark says, if it's doing what you need and there aren't major noise issue, I'd go for the big cranky whine and press for compensation. And mention you have a fan base that hang on your every word. You have a great point. Bud box. That's hilarious. Eat more apples, then you'll get more cores. What did JG and Dave Vignola say I should do? Both of them say I should keep it. And I should press for compensation. That's what they said. Orin said, let's start a GoFundMe page to help. Orin, that is very, very kind. You really don't. There shouldn't be any legal costs, to be honest. I'm not going to sue. We don't really do that over here in the UK, to be honest. Cosmic says, Quiet PC UK do that. Just they build quiet PCs. That's, yeah. You know what? I'm thinking for the next machine that I will go to them instead of to Scan. I went to Scan because they have a relationship with Presonus. That's kind of why I went to them. So I may well talk to some friends and see what I can do there. Don says, heat is the enemy of almost all electronics. Passive cooling is fine if you make sure the rooms stay at low temperature. If it ever gets too warm in the room, it stresses the electronics. That is a great point. That is a great, great point. Now, I live in Scotland, Don, not sunny California. So when we say warm here, we maybe mean, you know, outside temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. That's warm. That's really warm for Scotland. You know, I know it can get very, very, very hot in California. I know you guys have had like heat of, you know, 40 something degrees sometimes. So, yeah, that's possibly more of an issue out there than it is in here. That said, I only have the one radiator, which is in the corner over there. And we don't have them cranked. Even in the winter, we don't have them cranked. Let's see. Bobby says, yes, it was. Went from the lower part of Texas up way north and then back to Texas where I live. That's ridiculous. It went, what? From the lower part of Texas up way north and then back to Texas. That's mental. Yeah, Cosmic makes a very good point. He says, if you're not technical yourself, you can be at the mercy of these companies. To be honest, Scan have actually done me good in the past. So I'm not going to complain too terribly much about them because they have built previous machines for me and they've built them exactly as I wanted to. And, you know, it's just on this occasion, it's just been a balls up from start to finish. And there's a very British expression for you. Balls up. Kyle says we can get near 37 in New Jersey easily. Yes, I'm pretty sure you can. Mika says, my Trashcan Mac Pro has a fan system. I've never heard it. Interesting. I'm not sure that it even comes on. I can hear the fan in an iMac when it's churning and the Mac Mini when pressed very hard. Very quiet. Oh, well, that's interesting. Mac Pro. Yeah, I couldn't afford one of those. No way. Not for the kind of specifications that I need to do what I do. So, yeah, yeah, I couldn't afford a Mac Pro. To do what I need to do, it would probably cost £2 or £3 I would think. And this machine comes in at just over £1,000, which is going to be probably about $1,300 ish, $1,400, something like that. So there we go, folks. That's the story of the computer. And I'm sure you probably didn't really want to hear all of that, but there you go. So we're down to 32 people. So I think we should maybe have a check out of some other audio and also check out the quality of the picture when I'm doing Studio One stuff, so that going forward we can do all of that kind of stuff. So let's do that. Let's go to over here. Okay, there we go. So you guys now should be able to see Studio One. And hopefully the image quality is good. Oh, maybe it's a little bit blurry. I don't know. Hopefully it's not. Kind of looks like it might be. I hope it isn't. I hope that's good image quality. But here's audio. This is just a mocked up track that I've been working on. Well, not even really been working on. Oh, hang on. I've pulled up the wrong song. Or have I? No, I haven't. I haven't pulled up the wrong song at all. It's just scrolled down to the bottom for some reason. All right. All it is just like some drum loops and Fender Rhodes. Alright, I hope that was sounding okay, and I hope it looks okay up at your end. We will go and have a look in the chat, and we will see what you guys think. Let's have a look. Okay, Don says, looks great here. Bobby says, nice and clear. Excellent. Okay, the reason why I said it might be a little blurry is because on my second monitor over here, which is an old telly, an old TV, it looked kind of a little blurry, but I think maybe that's possibly that old telly. Okay, so let's see. Thomas says, I find the image quality good. Excellent. Don says, audio working great too. Excellent. Clear picture and sound. Excellent. Those are all good comments. Now, when you were listening to that, did that sound like it was in stereo as opposed to mono? Now, granted, I have not panned anything. The only thing I've got on there is a stereo panner on the Fender Rhodes. I can go back over and show you that. Yeah, let's show you that. So, in Studio One, I'm using the pedal board. And I've got this modulation pedal and the reverb going on, and I've got the width cranked on it, and it's moderate speed, and it's just kind of just doing its thing. And the idea is it's supposed to give it plenty of stereo width, or at least that's the idea anyway. So if I was to solo the piano, and we can listen to just that. It should be moving from side to side in your headphones or on your speakers. Certainly in my headphones it is. So this should be stereo. So hopefully that is working out correctly as stereo. Let's go and see what you guys are saying. Good. Let's see. Stereo sound is good. Mika says, test the panning. Good point. Good idea. Ken says, my stereo monitors are dead, so watching on TV with a soundbar. Sounded stereo, but can't be sure. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that anyway. And I'm sorry about your studio monitors. That sucks. Put a sine wave pan left and right. I could do that. That's not a bad idea. Thomas says, nice stereo. Nice stereo swirl going on here. Says Mika. Mike Neighbor says, I'm on my phone playing Monopoly now. Really? Am I that boring? Am I that boring that you have to play Monopoly? Oh dear God. What is wrong with me? I'm only kidding. Bobby says, yes, it is. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to that Studio One song. And we will... I'll pan that around. And we'll see. We'll see how that sounds. Let's solo up the piano. And I'll just pan it about a bit. So hopefully, if I've wired this up correctly, that is all the way right. If I've got the plugs in the right order. Might not have. If I haven't, then I can switch them around after the show. So if this is all over to the right, please type in the chat right. Or say right okay, something like that. And now I'm going to pan it back over. So now this is all the way left. So if you're hearing it all the way left, then please type left okay. And if I've got them the wrong way round, then please say they are the wrong way round. Okay, now we're back in the middle. All right, I'm going to go and check your what you've been saying. And we'll see what the story is. Oh, you're with the family. Okay, Mike, I appreciate that. Just Bob says, broadcasting from my phone to the TV via Chromecast. Nice. Okay, we've got some rights. The right. Now left. Yes, headphones, right, okay. Left, right, left, okay, left, okay, left, okay, left, okay. Enchanted Eric says, so far, ought to copyright it fast though. It's just a dummy track. Both sides working as expected. Excellent. Let's see, Cosmic J says, I've extended my cans so I can listen late at night and make it to the kitchen. Wow. Left-right orientation is good. Excellent. Eric says, stereopoly. I like that. Okay, so that's good news. So I have wired this up correctly the right way round. And we're getting a stereo signal. Perfecto. All right, this is very, very helpful, guys. Because this gives me confidence now to go and do some videos in Camtasia. I have a backlog of videos to make. I have, I started doing some videos on the splitter tool. I did one video, which is kind of an overview. So I want to do a couple more videos, where I delve into the different functionalities of the splitter and different uses of it. So parallel compression, mid-side processing, not that I do much mid-side processing, if at all, but if I were to, you could use the splitter functionality that way, and I can show multiple splitters, so you can have like 4 or 5, I think it's 5 maximum splitters in the splitter function. So I'm going to do some videos on that little splitter mini-series. And then I've got some other videos that I want to make as well. But the other thing I want is for 2020, I want you guys to send me suggested videos for me to make so that I'm making the kind of content that you guys want to see, that you want to learn from. So if you've got a burning issue, please don't set anything on fire. Or get down to the ER and get those burns dealt with. If you've got a particular issue that you want to learn about, or a particular function of Studio One that you are unaware of that you want to learn, or a particular mixing technique that you would like to learn, then definitely email me, Jonny at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk, and just say video subject, and in the subject for the email, and then just drop me a couple of lines about what you'd like to see, or you can put them in the chat here as well. That will also help. I see 36 people in here. That's awesome, and 19 likes, which is nice as well. That's really good. So so that's what I want to do this year. I want to put out a video every single week for the remainder of 2020, as well as doing my Sunday Night Live as many Sundays as possible. There will be some Sundays where I cannot do it in my studio here because I'm on the road. That kind of thing. Cosmic, that's very, very funny, but I can't show that. Sorry, dude, but that's very funny. Sorry about that. So I want to put out a video every week, and I want to do my Sunday Night Live every Sunday for the remainder of 2020, going into 2021. I have some big plans for 2020, and I have some exciting things that are happening here at Jonny Lipsham Studios. Some of which I can't talk about right now, but when I do, you guys will be very, very excited. Oh yes. Eric says, the 2 mics set up for drums. Yes, we can certainly do that. 2 mics set up for drums, because I have done that a lot. I can't actually show it because I don't have drums in my studio. So there is that kind of limitation with that. But certainly we can talk about it. And we can maybe show, I can pull in some drums that have been recorded that way. In fact, all of the drums on my last EP, Belonging to Tomorrow, which was done in 2016, I know, it's a long time ago now. All of those were recorded with, was it 2 mics? No, it's 3 mics, 2 overheads and a kick drum mic, and that was it. Cosmic says, Fab Filter Pro Q got me doing mid-side more than I'd bothered before. Yeah, that has a really good mid-side processing feature in it, unlike the native Studio One EQ. I don't have any of the Fab Filter stuff because it's quite expensive. Splitter is for pro users. That is correct. Need to do vids for just artist version users. Yeah, I try and cover as many different user bases as possible, because I have almost as many artist users as professional users. So yeah, 3 mic drum setup is popular as well. Yes, it definitely is. I use it a lot for jazz and for folk stuff, because A, it's easy. B, in those kind of genres, you're not worried about bleed. I never worry about bleed when it comes to recording jazz or folk music, because actually bleed is part of the sound. So it doesn't matter. You don't mic things individually. You could mic everything individually and then take a blend of the spot mics and the overheads. Definitely you could do that, or use the overheads and then blend in the close mics with the overheads. You can certainly do that, but here's the thing. The more mics you chuck at an audio source, the more you're likely to encounter phase issues. So you have to think about those kind of things when you're miking up, when you're chucking multiple mics at something. And you know, there is software out there that can help you with that, like Auto Align. Dave Vignola uses that a lot on his mixes to phase align drums in particular. But yeah, the more mics you chuck at something, the more you're going to encounter phase problems, unless you have the mic capsules exactly aligned so that audio hits the capsules at the same time. So that's always a thing. Let's see. Cosmic says, I grabbed Pro Q when it was on offer Black Friday 2018. Oh, really? I must have missed that one. Bobby Booth says, still working on your music theory videos. Yes, I have got my first course out there. I've got 2 courses out there now on my website. I have got a music theory course, a basic music theory course for beginners, and I've got a beginner songwriting course. My plan for those 2 courses is to develop those further. So later, later this year, I will be putting out the intermediate versions of those 2 courses. And then maybe towards the end of the year, towards Christmas time or early into 2021, I will put out the advanced of those 2 courses as well. So we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced of both those 2 courses. Plus, I have other courses that I'm going to do as well. I'm going to do a compression course. I know I already do like a free compression series, but I'm going to do a compression course that is much more in depth than my little compression series that you get for free if you are subscribed to my email list. If you're subscribed to my email list, you get that course for free, and you also get to join my VIP community for free as well. So you get double bubble, as we call it. Here, 2 for the price of 1, and it's free. So you may as well. And to do that, just head on over to jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk, click the red get my free course now button, and then go through the sign up process to sign up to my email list, and you will automatically have a library section on my website that you can access, and you'll have the free compression course there, and you will also have access to the VIP community forum as well. So go sign up for that. I have 56 people over there already, which is great. And I'd love to get more. So if you are not a subscriber, go and do that. Now, I think a couple of years ago, I had a compression course that I gave away for free. I have since updated that. So if you hit that red button now, if you've been a subscriber for a while to my old list, because I used to use MailChimp, I don't use that anymore. I now use Kajabi for all my website stuff, including my email list. So my email list is all hosted on Kajabi now. So even if you've already got my old series, come join this new email list, and you'll get my new compression course, and you'll also get access to my VIP forum as well. So go ahead and do that. I'm just going to take a small swig of tea. Bear with me. Let's see. I'm a fan of Autoline as well, says Kyle. Yes. Sorry about the chiming sounds. I don't know how to switch those off in Windows. Somebody will tell me how you can turn those notification sounds off. I've only been using Windows 10 for like a few days, and I haven't worked out how you turn those sounds off yet. So we got 31 people still here. We've dropped down a little bit from the 36 we had a few minutes ago. But 36 is a brand new record for Sunday Night Live. So I am very, very, very happy with that, given that there was a little break. And, of course, last week's show I had to do on my laptop. So sorry about that. Didn't have a computer ready to do the show. But here we are. Mike says, I'll show you. Excellent. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you could do some screen grabs or something and then post them in our chat in Facebook, that would help me. And then I can just go and turn those sounds off. I don't mind having notifications pop up, but I do mind the diddly-doo. Bob says, gotta go. Enjoyed the show. Congrats on your new computer. Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate all of your support over the last couple of years. You have been immense, and you have always had something very, very good to say and contribute to my shows and to commentary on my videos. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I think that was actually a notification of a... Oh, thank you, Bruce. Bruce Ennis has sent me... Oh, excellent. Thank you for that. That's awesome. I appreciate that. He sent me some screen grabs of the show in 1080. Thank you very much. That is very, very helpful, Bruce. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. That makes me feel very, very happy. Feel very good. So, as I say, I'm going to be getting my old Camtasia installed, and Don Barnes, if you're still here, I would very much like to hook up with you and get that set up so that we're using the same virtual outputs and all of that jazz. Search for control panel, it's always where it is. Okay, thank you, Toby, appreciate that. I can do it in there. Excellent. Mika says, I do mind notifications when audio recording, I turn them all off. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Particularly the audio ones, they are annoying. I don't mind the actual thing come up on the screen. That doesn't bother me too terribly much. But certainly if I'm recording, then yes, it's a good idea probably to turn them off. And there's probably like a one-click button I can do that with. What's this? This just popped up. Your audio stream's current bit rate 0 is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend you use an audio stream bit rate of 128 kbps. Okay, Don, you and I are going to have to talk about that if you're still here. Excellent. Thanks, Don. Sure we can make that happen. Yeah, I've got this thing come up in OBS that says the audio stream's bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend you use an audio stream bit rate of 128 kbps. I don't know how to change that. I'm sure that you possibly might do and might be able to fix that for me. But even if you don't, we can probably find out how to do it. We're smart enough. So there we go. We have 5 minutes left to go of the show. And I haven't done my question time. Sorry about that. I should have done more on that. Oh, the other thing we haven't done is check out the piano to make sure that that's coming through. So maybe we should do that before we stop. Carl said sound is good. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. Try not to run over my headphone cable. Let's see. Okay, hopefully that sounded okay as well. Don said yes, but there are no audio issues on our end as of yet. Okay, that's good to know. That's the important thing. Cosmic says Vox & Go does a sound delay plugin, especially for shifting, takes back and forth measured in numbers of samples. We used to align in the old Cubase days like that, nudging by a couple of samples. Oh, that's very cool. Yes. Yes, I'm an ex-Cubase guy as well. Mika says, is it just me or is there a slight out of sync issue when JL speaks? That is possible. That is possible. And if there is, it's possibly because my webcam is an older HD webcam and might be a little bit on the slow side. That's possible. Piano is working as expected. Excellent. That's the kind of stuff that is very, very good to hear. Now, the piano won't be in stereo. The piano is mono because it's a mono connection out of the piano. Ken says, I noticed that lots on YouTube videos, especially lately. Ah, okay. I wonder if there is a bug in YouTube, if that's the case. That is possible. If you've seen that in multiple YouTube videos, it's entirely possible that there is some kind of bug in YouTube in their playback engine that means that video and audio are very slightly out of sync. That's possible. Now, for me, I'm watching the stream on the preview window in YouTube Studio, and there is definitely a delay of about 7 or 8 seconds, and I think that's just the time it takes for my live broadcast to get to YouTube. Mika says just a tad, like 2 frames. Okay, 2 frames is reasonably large amount. Yes, video is slightly behind audio. Oh, okay, it's behind rather than ahead. That's interesting. Not horribly, though. Okay. Ken says, I streamed a Saturday Night Live video that was way out of sync but caught itself up during it. Ah, that's interesting. So this could be a YouTube playback engine issue. Okay, Bruce says, last time I had seen out of sync problem, I did a reset on the screen and it fixed the problem. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so this sounds like it's probably a YouTube problem rather than a Jonny Lipsham Studios problem. Especially if we're talking a couple of frames, there's probably some kind of delay. Let's see, what's my stream latency setting? That's normal latency. I don't have the ultra low latency set. I know Jonny Gibe has the ultra low latency set. I don't. I have it at normal. So maybe that's something I can experiment with. Video and sound seemed on time here, says Bobby. Okay, that's good. Mika says I relaunched and it's still there. Okay. Yeah, in that case, it's probably a YouTube problem. Let me see. Let me have a look at OBS. Am I out of sync there? Let me just do a finger snap. Yeah. By the time I click my fingers and I'm seeing OBS. Yeah, Mika, you're right. I think maybe there is a delay going on there. Interesting. Could be my graphics card. It is the internal graphics card. Could be your bitrate isn't optimized. That could be it actually, Mika. You might be right. Could be the bitrate isn't optimized. Yes. That's definitely something I can look into. So it could be me or it could be YouTube. I'm not really 100% sure, but certainly I can look at the optimizing the bitrate and see if we can get that squared away. Certainly before I hit start on the show, YouTube told me that 1920 by 1080p isn't optimal, which was interesting because it's never done that before, and I've been doing this show for a lot of years now. For like, I don't know, since 2017. So, about 2 years, 2.5 years I've been doing Sunday Night Live, and it's never told me that 1080p is not optimal before. So that might be why, for some of you, the show started in 720. It's possible. So I guess for next week's show, keep an eye on that, and if it does start in 720, then click the cogwheel and up it to 1080 as soon as you can. And I will see if we can adjust that in some way as well at this end. Alrighty, folks, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for coming tonight. We had 36 people, which is definitely a record. Thank you so much to all of you for your support and your encouragement. You guys have been great, and you've given me some great suggestions for what I should do tomorrow when I'm talking to Scan Computers UK. I will take everybody's viewpoint in mind, and I'll make a decision in the morning tomorrow and decide what I'm going to do. Do I want to wait another few days without a computer? That's fundamentally, that's probably the bigger question, really, is do I really want to be out of business for another few days? I'd rather not, because I'd rather, you know, make a great looking and great sounding show for you guys, and I'd rather put out great looking and great sounding and really helpful tutorial videos as well. I can't do that without a computer, so I don't know. Budbox says, no delay on anything here, but I'm only next door, so to speak. That's true. You are. Mika says, probably a YouTube issue. They're doing some major overhauls. Yes, they are. They've been upgrading their servers. And they have actually been fixing some bugs. So, Cosmic says, keep it at 30 or 25 FPS. 0 is overkill for this kind of material. Okay, that's a good point. I don't know why it's set at 0, but we can check that. All right, so I think we're going to call it there, folks, because numbers are starting to fall away, and it is definitely past 1 a.m. here in Scotland, in the glorious United Kingdom, still the centre of the universe. Well, Scotland is. Don't know about the rest of the UK. Mika says your compensation should be for the cost of soundproofing as well as the bad shipping. Good luck with it. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Eric says, actually good on my connection in NM. Not sure where NM is. Are you going to send it back? I don't know yet. I'm going to decide that in the morning whether I'm going to send it back. Dwayne says, thank you for the show. I still learn all kinds of things. Well, that's good to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And on that fantastic and happy note, we are going to get out of here. And I'm going to see you guys around on Facebook and the Personas forums. I'm there as well. I'm an administrator over there. And I'll see you guys around. And as I say, email me some suggestions for videos you would like to see, and I will make them. All right? See you all guys next week. Bye for now. Oh, where's my darn play music gone? Oh, I'm so not very good at this. Good night, everybody.